Hi, it's Ron and Mary again, and this month's theme is the power of the spiritual context.
Spiritual context, not an easy thing to talk about. Or maybe it's an easy thing to talk about, but it's not such an easy thing to experience. So people often ask us, well, just what do you mean by spiritual context anyway? How is that different from life? Well, in a very real way, it's not different from life. Life is included within it. So when we think about everyday life, for most people, we're talking about living our lives in physical world reality. When we're talking about the spiritual context, we're really talking about inner experiences. It might start with inner beliefs, what you believe about the nature of reality. And there are lots of systems that are built up on this notion of understanding spirit and talking about spirit and worshiping spirit. And these are all very, very, very valid pursuits. But when you dare to enter the spiritual context, what we're talking about is experiencing spirit directly, firsthand. So at USM, when we talk about spiritual psychology, we're really setting things up in such a way that people are more prone to having spiritual experiences. Imagine the distinction between trying to explain something and just having someone experience it directly. Once you've experienced it, once you've just had a taste of it directly, the game is really over because you now know what life is all about for you. So it's extremely, what shall we say, the word that's been used, but it's a good word, enlightening.
Knowing about the spiritual context really makes all the difference. Rather than perceiving life as something that's happening to us, we begin to recognize that there's a purposefulness to our lives and to the experiences that we have, and that in fact we are the authors of our own experience, that outer experience is a reflection of inner reality, that the experiences we have are largely determined by the perceptual filters that we hold in consciousness. In other words, each person has their own subjective experience of reality, and that is determined by the beliefs that a person holds and the earlier experiences and conditioning that they have received. So when we move into the spiritual context, there is a tremendous opportunity for recognizing the very opportunities that we are given in life for healing, for awakening, for the revelation of ourselves and the divinity that resides within us. In other words, it's an opportunity to really wake up into the beauty, the majesty, the compassion, and the wisdom of who we truly are, rather than just seeing ourselves as a clod of ailments moving through life, constantly at the effect of everything that happens.
And when you start to consider this possibility, it begins to dawn on us that really that is why we're here. From a spiritual context, we are here precisely so that we can learn to grow into the reality that is that dimension. It's a very, very, very different way of being in the world.
Part of what I love about the principles and practices of spiritual psychology, they assist someone in entering the spiritual context, in recognizing there's more going on here than physical world reality, and that as they apply the tools, and in particular, as they learn to let go of their judgments, their misinterpretations of reality, and their perceptual filter starts to shift. It's no longer being so influenced by these conditioned beliefs and by the repetitive pattern of judgment of self, of others, of the world, of everything that's going on here. They start to see more clearly. They start to be more connected to their heart, to the loving that they are, and their life begins to transform. So, spiritual psychology, as we say, is about transforming your consciousness and transforming your life.
True.